Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Let's get into these blonde box braids and cornrows with curly ends. I love this style. Let me show you exactly how I did it. Let's get into the hair tools. I'll be using this Perfect Point parting comb from Petrie. It's your tool that you'll use to make your parts for your braids, and it has a stainless steel rat tail end. I'll be using a ton of these duck clips just to clip away my hair. I'll also be using this braid cream from Pantene. I love it. It smells amazing. I will be using braid glaze to help mold and lay down any areas of my hair that I'm going to braid. I did use two colors in my hair for this style. I used color 27 and then I used this mixed 27 and 613 color. It is pre-stretched. Pre-stretched just allows your ends to be really tapered and neat. Don't forget to hydrate. First things first, I am going to blow dry my clean hair. I'm using this Chi Iron Guard. It's great if you're going to flat iron or blow dry or use any type of heat on your hair. I just spray it all over and I use my Denman paddle brush to help distribute the heat and the product all the way through from the root to the ends. And once it's done blow dried, I just tie my hair up and start separating out my hair. Now, I wasn't quite sure how I wanted to prep my hair. I actually have never done a braid style like this where I have the ends be a totally different color than the roots. And so I was experimenting here with how I wanted to set up. It seemed like putting half of the 27 hair on one side of my braid rack really helped, and then on the other half I just put pieces of the 613 blonde color, and it was just easier to grab it like that when I braided. But I will say next time I'll probably just go ahead and set up all of my 27 color, that's for my roots, braid all of that. Then when I'm ready to add in the blonde color, I will set up a different rack for that. That's just a little bit of detail about what it took to actually set this hair up. Now that my hair is blow dried, my braiding hair is separated, it's time to part out the foundation. Again, I knew that I wanted half box braids and half cornrows. So my front was going to be cornrows, the back was going to be some type of box braids. So with that, you just want to part from ear to ear as straight as possible. I highly recommend that you always do a rough part first, then you go back in to clean up everything. This usually does take the longest, but it's worth it in the end to pre-part your hair. So as you can see, I parted from ear to ear. The section in the back will be all of my knotless braids, and then the section in the front will be my box braids. Now here I'm setting up the parts that I want to do for the back. As you can see, that part looked real janky. So I just take my handheld mirror and I'm looking in my viewfinder in my camera, and I take my parting comb and I just go through to carve out the line that I want. And you just keep doing that until it's neat. Like this. Ta-da! So what I did was part my hair down the center, and then I just started parting from ear to the other ear. Here is a glimpse of how I pre-parted the back so I could get started on those box braids. I just did 4 rows back there, but that's also because I wanted my braids much smaller. Here's another glimpse of all 3 rows done. Here is me working on my 5th row, and I'm actually going to show you how to do the knotless braid. I applied a small amount of the braid glaze to the roots of the hair, and then I divide that section into 3 sections. You cross over, and cross over one more time. You want your foundation to be nice and tight when you add this first piece of braiding hair in. You're going to slip it through just like that. You're going to grab that braiding hair in your hair and cross under. Grab that braiding hair in your hair, cross under. Make sure you're holding this pretty tight. You don't want to loosen up your grip as you're slipping in the second piece. Again, grab your hair and that braiding hair, cross under, follow it, cross under. I did this 4 times because I added 4 pieces of braiding hair at the beginning. And you want to make sure the pieces of hair are pretty much identical in size. I wanted my braids like a medium size, and I wanted them extra long. So that's why I just started out with 4. As you braid down, you can continue to add your pieces of hair. Once you've added all of your hair, you just want to keep braiding down and keep tucking in your pieces. I will say this, if you've ever had a fresh trim or a blunt cut like me, be very patient when it comes to your ends of your hair when you're trying to braid them in, because for me, some of them was sticking out and I had to go in with the gel and really smooth it out into the braiding hair. So let me give you another view. Once I finish braiding down past my hair, I add one more piece, which will be considered my 5th piece of braiding hair, just to that middle section to keep the braid consistent in size all the way down. Here is a view of my hair at about 10 o'clock at night. I still had about 4 more rows to go. I finished the back of my hair at exactly midnight. Showing you this part here, this part that I'm pointing at, I'm pointing because I want you guys to see that you're going to add a braid right here. You want to basically brick lay your parts. You want to use another braid to cover up that middle part. You do not want it to be perfectly divided down the center. Here I'm going to be doing my cornrow, and I'm using braid glaze again, and I'm going to apply a small amount to the section of hair that I've already parted out. Now this braid is a little bit difficult to do because number one, I'm braiding it towards my face instead of towards the back of my head. So as you can see, my hand position and finger placement was really not something that you will be doing all the time, but this is what I had to do in order to achieve this braid going to the front. So I'm going to start this cornrow basically at the back here, and I'm grabbing a small tiny section. I'm going to divide it into 3 legs and start cornrowing. Once I have the beginning of that braid secure right here, I'm going to add my first piece of braiding hair, and you see how tiny that hair is. I'm adding it so it can help the braid be nice and secure. After that first crossover, I do another one, crossover, and I grab another piece of braiding hair equally as small, so that way the cornrow graduates in size once I get to the end. And as you can see, this next piece, it was just slightly thicker. That's because, again, I want the cornrow to be a little bit graduated in size. I think I added a total of 5 pieces of braiding hair to this little side braid. I know everything is magnified, but trust me, it wasn't like giant pieces of hair. Once you get towards the end like this, you want to make sure that your grip does not loosen. You want to make sure that you keep a tight grip. And if you have long sideburn hair like me, try not to get it braided into this cornrow. Once you have everything braided, you're going to go ahead, switch your hand positions, add a little bit more gel onto your fingers, and start braiding it down to the end. For this braid, I am going to add beads on, so I don't have to braid it all the way down. I'm just braiding it a couple inches past where my real hair stops. I recorded some footage on my iPhone. It was about 1 a.m. at this time. I didn't feel like pulling out the Canon, so I just captured this footage with my phone. First things first, I'm applying the gel to the section of hair that I'm going to cornrow. I urge you, do not forget to leave out your baby hair. So before you start cornrowing, make sure you leave out a little bit of your baby hair if you're going to be doing that. Then I parted off just a small section of that hair in the very beginning to kind of create like an anchor. So once you apply your gel, section off a really small piece, and you're gonna just make it a plait. You're not even gonna cornrow, you're just going to make it a plait. This is going to ensure that the hair that you add next doesn't slip all the way to the back. Now that first piece of hair I'm adding is really thin and small, and I just slip it in there just like I do with the knotless braids. Throw it back, cross under, and I'm going to cross over twice here just because I want that hair to be really secure in there. Now if you look at my face, I'm really focused because feet in cornrows, if you don't hold the grip tight enough, if you loosen it at all, the cornrow will get messed up and all of that braiding hair will just slide back, and you won't really get that gradual transition from your black hair to the blonde hair. But as you can see, I'm slowly but effectively adding in small pieces of braiding hair. And I think this is about my fourth piece because I wanted this braid to be kind of thick. Looking back at it in hindsight, I probably should have made this a little bit smaller, but I don't care. I still did it. Okay, we're finally at the end. I'm going to try a new technique I saw on TikTok of how to dip your ends. It's probably not new to like OG braiders, but this is something you could do if you don't have perm rods or flexi rods. You're basically going to knot the hair into itself. So you're kind of doing like a bantu knot on your ends to make a little bit of a spiral curl. I do believe that people who have locks, they get this done to their locks to give it a curl or a spiral. But do not quote me because I don't know nothing about locks, but I could have sworn I seen this on individuals who have dreadlocks or locks. But as you can see, I basically twisted it around itself until it couldn't twist no more. And I did 4 sections because I really just wanted the ends where it was blonde to be dipped. Whenever you're going to dip your hair in the hot water, make sure you have 1 or 2 towels handy. This towel was humongous, so I just used one and then folded it in half to protect my skin from any water burns and from the steam that will be coming off the hair once you dip. This little part in the front I'm showing you, I did end up dipping it, but I ended up putting beads on it, so I didn't even need to do all this. I was really just trying to see how it would look, with the ends curled instead of me adding beads. Here I'm dipping in those larger knots that I made. You want to make sure that when you're dipping your hair, you at least dip from 30 seconds to 60 seconds. The longer the better. Braiding hair is pretty thick, and if you didn't know, it's made of essentially plastic. So you want to make sure that this water really helps you shape that curl to how you want it. Once you have your hair dipped and it's been sitting for like at least, like I said, 30 seconds to 60 seconds, drag the pot all the way up to however far you want it. I wanted mine to go up pretty high because I wanted my braids to be flexible. Once you do that, you can use the towel to catch your hair and start patting some of that water out. I let it sit like this for at least 3 minutes because if you take it out immediately, sometimes the curls can tangle up on you, and I didn't want that. So here it is, my curls are cooled off, the water is pretty cold on my hair, and it unraveled pretty easily, but I could already tell looking at that it was going to be a beautiful curl, and I was indeed right. These curls are gorgeous. I love them. I wish I would have did just a little bit more blonde closer to my roots because this really would have been something nice. But that is the results of it. So shout out to TikTok University for showing me something that I never tried before. This is the end result. My hair looks beautiful. I love the color. It's a perfect intro to the spring season. As you can see, my braids are like a medium size, and this took me about 7 to 8 hours to do from start to finish. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions about how to do a knotless braid or just anything in general that I did with this hairstyle, don't hesitate to leave it in the question. Something that I wanted to share with y'all, this hairstyle is so versatile. Like, look at this bun that I'm about to do. Super easy to put into a bun, and this is the next day. Like, that's why knotless braids are so clutch, because you don't have to wait a week to move your hair into a ponytail. But these little curls that I did, they look so cute, especially when I put it in a bun and I leave a couple of them hanging out. It really looks so cute, and I don't know if any of the braid girlies are doing that, but if y'all see anybody doing it, tell them that you saw Kirsty do it first. Again, thank you guys for watching. I love how versatile this style is. I probably can get at least 6 cute little looks out of this, probably even 8. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It feels so good to be doing my hair. It felt really good to be back in front of the camera, posing for the pictures, and just doing something that I haven't done in a really long time. Looking forward to bringing you guys more of this type of content. Yeah, catch y'all later. Bye.